This is Piedmont Perspectives, a public affairs presentation of WTOB News.
Good morning and welcome to Piedmont Perspectives. I'm your host, Ed Skirka. My guest this morning is Allan Younger. He's the director of the Small Business Center at Forsyth Tech. Good morning, Allan.
Good morning, and thanks for having me.
Well, pleasure to have you. Great to have you here this morning. Small Business Week is coming up, right?
That's right. We're excited.
And so we're here to talk about that. But first of all, let's talk a little bit about the Small Business Center at Forsyth Tech. What's that all about?
I'm glad to say that we're part of a statewide network of small business centers. There are 58 community colleges across the state, and we all have a small business focus. All of us want to help small business owners to be successful. So what our job is to help people to start businesses, and if they're already in business, we want to help them to be successful.
And now that's through with students at the school, or is that out in the community as well?
Actually, it's out in the community. Students of the school are certainly welcome to participate, and sometimes they do. However, the majority of the people that we work with are not students associated with one of our colleges across the state.
So tell me how that works. I'm certainly unfamiliar, and I'm sure a lot of people are out there. Do you go out in the community, or do people come to you and say, hey, I'd like to start a small business. Can you help me out?
We do both. Most of the ways that people find out about us are through word of mouth, either because we're out speaking to someone, to different groups, letting them know about the services that we offer, or we've got different clients who've had some good experience with us, and they're telling other people about us. There's some people who find us on the internet or through social media. A lot of the ways that people find us is by us interacting directly with them.
And so basically they contact you, and what do they say?
So people contact us with all kinds of things, all kinds of reasons. Some of them say, well, I've been thinking about starting a business and I really want to know what's involved in it. So we're very early stage with them, and we help them to understand the different things that are involved. Many people who contact us are already on the path of starting a business or have already had a business in place for a couple of years. They either call us or they drop by our office in Innovation Quarter, or they attend one of our events. However they get in touch with us, we're happy to work with them. And
so you work with Innovation Quarter. Obviously, they have all kinds of startups and things like that going there. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, most of our clients are not through Innovation Quarter.
Okay.
It's just where we're housed. However, they come to us from all over. Sometimes the folks who come to us are connected to Innovation Quarter in some way. However, the majority of them come to us because they've decided they want to start a business, either a retail business or a service-related business or sometimes a manufacturing-related business. And we're glad that they found out about us. They find out about us through the partnerships that we have with the different chambers of commerce, sometimes through other organizations like the City of Winston-Salem or the City of Cartersville or Louisville or Clemens, the different municipalities are in this area. We make it our point to work with them so they know what we have to offer.
And so you work closely with different municipalities then, obviously.
We work closely with anybody who's focused on small business success. We have a wonderful ecosystem here in Winston-Salem, Forsyth County, of different organizations that want to help people to be successful, whether they're tech-related businesses or somebody who says, I want to start a graphic design business. Whatever it is, we can help them. We offer about 20 educational events each month. They could attend. They're paid for by people's tax dollars, so they don't have to reach for their wallet or their purse. We also have a team of business mentors who they can meet with one-on-one, just like you and I are talking one-on-one, and find out what challenges that they're facing. And our mentors have already started their own businesses, and they've been in business for years, so they have a lot of advice that they can share.
I want to get back to that in just a second, but first of all, walk me through it. Let's say I walk in and I want to start a small business. Where do you start?
Well, the thing that we suggest initially, if somebody wants to start a small business, is to attend an event that we have each month called Thinking of Starting Your Own Business. When they attend that event, they'll be in the room with about 10 or 12 other people who are early stage in starting their business. It helps people to be in a room with people who are about where they are. However, the facilitator is somebody who's much further along in the process. They started their business before, and their job is to help people to start businesses. We help them to assess themselves as an entrepreneur. We also help them to understand the different components that are involved in starting a business. And then we encourage them to get started on a business plan. After they get started on a business plan, we want to sit down with them, with one of our business mentors, and And each draft of their business plan, we'll review it with them and make suggestions. And as they continue to meet with us, they'll be ready to start their business. Sometimes it takes a few months. Sometimes it takes about a year. It just depends on the type of business and who else is doing what they're doing in the marketplace.
And I imagine that kind of networking with people who are where you're at or where they're at really helps people kind of focus and see if they're on the right track.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, there is an opportunity every Thursday evening for people to get with other people who are somewhere in the process. The event is called Venture Cafe. It happens not too far from here, downtown Winston-Salem, in the Innovation Corner. And there's about 150 people there each week. Many of those people are exploring the idea of starting a business. Many of those people are early in the process of starting a business. And many of those people have started a business 5 or 10 years ago and want to help those who are earlier in the process.
Wow. See, that's amazing to me. 150 people you have showing up weekly at one of these meetings. I love the entrepreneurial spirit there.
Absolutely. There's a lot of good entrepreneurial spirit in Winston-Salem.
Do you, when you, getting back to the mentors, do you pair people up with like-minded businesses, that type of thing, or is it just, kind of who gets who?
The way that it works is, if you said, I want to meet with a mentor, I would send you a link to a website that shows you the list of the 25 to 28 different people on our team. And then each of them identifies their specialties, whether it's social media, or a couple of them are lawyers, one of them is an accountant, and a couple of them have experience with financial matters, and some of them are really good with presentation skills. So depending on what skills you needed to develop, you get to select who you meet with. And then when you click on a button, it lets you know generally when they're available to meet with somebody. And we mentor about 65 people every month.
So you can choose a few mentors if you need to, say one's financial, one's legal, that type of thing. So you can kind of pick and choose and go through and not just get one person's advice, but several.
We think that is best. Rather than me trying to decide who you should meet with, I let you decide what type of people and what type of skills you need to develop. And then you can select, and then also when you're available. And then you get to select who you meet with. And many of the clients that we have that are very serious do have 3 or 4 people that they've chosen to work with.
Not to get off the subject, but I myself was a former small business owner before my illustrious radio career went downhill. But do people? I know it was a lot when you looked at it. You tried to put all the pieces together and think of everything that you needed and that type of thing and think down the road, years down the road, to keep your business going and successful. It seems it's almost overwhelming. Do people find that when they come in? Do they kind of get what they're expecting, or is it all of a sudden their eyes are open, they're going, oh my goodness, this is going to be a lot of work?
There's a mixture of all of that. As a matter of fact, the session that I told you that we offer every month, it's called Thinking of Starting Your Own Business. It's about 12 people in there each month. Of those 12, and I don't consider this a bad thing, about half of them we never see again. Because they have the opportunity to sit down with people who say, this is a lot of hard work. You might not make a whole lot of money, at least not right away. And in order for you to succeed, you've got to depend on a whole lot of other people. And then there's a lot of people who decide, this isn't for me. I view that as success. I'd rather that they decide early on that it's not for them, rather than spend a lot of their time or money or other people's money chasing a dream that really isn't the right fit for them.
That's pretty key, because really you are helping them, even though they're not deciding to go into business for themselves. And you're right. I mean, people can spend a lot of money and lose a lot of money and not be successful. So you're right. It's a lot of hard work. My favorite phrase was always, people come up to you and go, oh, you own your own business. Yeah, you probably only have to work a half a day. I always used to say, yeah, it depends on which 12 hours you want to work, and people, they get that when they show up, right? I mean, that's one of the things that they're going to understand when they leave one of these meetings, is that, hey, you're putting a lot of work in.
Well, people do understand that eventually, that they have to put a lot of work in. However, to your point, there are a lot of people who think that owning your own business doesn't take up nearly as much time as working for somebody else. A lot of people will tell you that owning your own business means you're on the clock 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
You're not necessarily working on your business, but you're always thinking about your business. You're always thinking about your customers. You're always thinking about your competitors. You're always thinking about how to be better. And that's not a bad thing. It sounds overwhelming, but I'm just saying it's a different mindset.
Mm-hmm. Oh, no question about it. I don't know whether you can. Can you point to any success stories that you've had?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, if people go to our website, we're glad to have written a number of success stories. A couple of them I'll mention. One of them that comes to mind is called the Himalayan Hideaway Salt Cave.
One of our advertisers.
Wonderful. Wonderful. When she approached us back in 2017 and said what she wanted to do, none of us in the office were familiar with a salt cave. So she told us about it. She told us about her own experiences with it. And then she said, I'm going to do this thing. I want to bring this to Winston-Salem. So we helped her to learn the things that she needed to learn and helped her start her business. And now she has a successful business that will be celebrating its first anniversary in June.
And if you haven't gone, go. It can be very soothing.
Absolutely. Another client of ours has been a client of ours for about 12 years. Her name is Janae Adams, and she's a speaker. So she speaks at different colleges and universities across the country. Different colleges and universities pay her to speak about financial literacy to their students because they understand that if students get it right, they're more likely to be able to pay their bills and stay in school. And so she does it, and she loves it.
And you wouldn't really think, hey, I'm going to start a business speaking about financial literacy. Right. But obviously she did and is very successful. See, those are things that I think people don't think about when they sit and go, well, I'm going to start a business. There are a wide variety of businesses. So.
We work with a huge variety of businesses. A lot of times people ask me, so what type of businesses do you work with? And my response is, yes. You're going to think we've probably worked with them before, and even if we haven't worked with them before, we're prepared to work with them moving forward.
Is there a set model that you use, or does it vary?
It varies for every type of business and every type of person that we interact with. So there's not a set model. However, there are some things that we strongly suggest that people do every time. Now, whether they're working with a bank or a financial institution that needs a business plan, we encourage people to think about what's involved in a business plan. So even if they don't create a business plan, we want them to think about their operations, what it's going to take to produce whatever they're producing or provide whatever service they're providing. We want them to look at the market. What currently exists there? Is there a demand for what you have? We ask people, don't just provide something, solve a problem. We also ask people to look at the competition. Who's doing what you want to do? If there's already too many people doing it that the market can't stand for one more person to do it, then you probably shouldn't go into it. But if you're meeting a need that isn't already being met, go for it. We ask people to look at their management style. They might not be suited to manage a business. They might need to select others in their team who are better suited for that. And there's a lot of other components of a business plan we encourage people to look at in starting their business. But like you said, depending on what type of business it is, there's a variety of things that will work or will not work in a particular situation.
I don't want to get too far off the path here, but you were introduced to me by Greta Lint with the state DOT, and there are a lot of businesses here in the Winston-Salem Business 40 corridor that are being affected by that project. Are you dealing with them at all? Do you go out and talk to them and see how they're doing, that type of thing?
Well, we've worked with Greta and others during the past couple of years to let them know here's what's coming. See, and a lot of businesses prepared for what's coming. Some businesses even moved so they wouldn't be as negatively impacted by the construction that's going on and will continue to go on. Most of the clients that we have are mobile. They're not grounded in a particular place. And that place isn't downtown and isn't negatively affected by the construction. However, many are. I've been in a lot of conversations, especially right before the construction was going to begin, where people acted like they had no idea that it was coming. The reality is the state DOT and others have been letting people know for a long time,
years,
this is coming and prepare yourself for it. And our job is to help to prepare people for success, however they define success. For some people, it's success when customers know how to reach them. For some people, it's success when their sales are growing each year. For some people, it's success when their reputation is enhanced because of who they are and what they're doing. So whether we're talking about construction or something else, we're always preparing people to maintain their level of success, if not build upon it.
Let's talk a little bit about Small Business Week. You've got a number of activities coming up. Tell us about Small Business Week and then what you got going on.
So National Small Business Week has existed since 1963. Every year, the President of the United States has declared National Small Business Week. Technically, it starts on the 5th. However, in Forsyth County, we're so excited that we're starting it on the 2nd, this Thursday. So our kickoff event is the end of our Business Accelerator program called the Launch Challenge. This is the 4th session of the Launch Challenge. We started in 2017, and ever since 2017, we've helped people to start new businesses. So we've helped to bring a number of new businesses to this community. So the Launch Challenge, the way that it works is we have a group of about 15 business owners who participate in our educational events at least 5 times each month for a 3-month period. And during that same 3-month period, they would meet with our business mentors at least 3 times each month. The process is designed to push them a little bit harder than they might push themselves so that they can start their business and be more successful when it starts. So on Thursday from 2 to 4 o'clock, we have our showcase. That's when the finalists from this Business Accelerator will have the opportunity to explain what their business is all about and then invite others to engage with them as they launch their businesses during the next couple of months if they haven't already. And then also on Thursday, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, is the 2nd anniversary of Venture Cafe. Venture Cafe exists in about 7 other cities across the world. We're the 5th city to have Venture Cafe. And it's a wonderful business opportunity where innovation meets entrepreneurship.
Tell me a little bit more about Venture Cafe.
So the way that it works is every Thursday evening across the world, from 5 o'clock to 8 o'clock, there's an opportunity for people to engage with others who are small business owners or who want to support small business owners, others who are innovators, others who have new ideas to addressing some of the problems that we're facing in our society. So we gather in Bailey Park, just across from Bailey Park at the Bailey Power Plant, where Venture Cafe is housed. And I was there last Thursday, had a wonderful time. There are different educational events, and there's also different speakers and different people who want to share their insight and knowledge with others. There's also free beer and wine.
Oh, you can never go wrong there, yeah. Now, so this isn't just for people who want to start a small business. This is for, venture capitalists, things like that, people who may want to invest in something and they just want to hear about new ideas that are out there.
That's right. The entire community is invited. The target are small business owners. However, everyone is invited and everyone comes. Sometimes students come, sometimes people who are retired come, and everybody in between, whether they're looking to start a business or they just want to understand more what's involved in starting a business. They may themselves not want to start a business, but they want to support others who do. They're all there.
It must be interesting for someone who has a product or a service that they want to get off the ground to walk into that atmosphere. And I guess you're giving a pitch pretty much while you're there. Is that correct?
Yes, you are correct. And it's a great way for people to gather market intelligence. How do people feel about this thing that I'm thinking about? I think this thing is a good idea. What do you think? And you can have a good number of conversations over the course of 3 hours. Now, some people come and stay for the entire time. Some people come whenever their schedule allows. Whatever you do is completely welcome. It's not like you're walking into a room late, which all of us hate to do. It's a big gathering place, and there's a lot of coming and going. And while there are these educational events going on, there's also people who didn't go to the educational events who are networking, and that's great too. Sometimes I go to an educational event at 6 and at 7. Sometimes I don't go to an educational event at all because I'm there to connect with other people.
Do you find, though, that some people are intimidated? I mean, they might have a great idea, but they're walking into this room full of people that basically they're trying to impress. Is it difficult for people to make a connection, or do people just respond?
Well, let me describe the room that people walk into. It's like a lounge atmosphere where there's a conversation over here with a couple people, a conversation over there with a couple people, a conversation over there with a couple people. So it's not like you're walking in and you're in front of 150 people. At the same time that there's the informal gathering, there are different sessions where it would be a little awkward to walk into that room because somebody's presenting and you're walking in, and you never want to be late in a situation like that if it's your first time. However, we embrace people who come for the first time. As a matter of fact, when you come, everybody has a name tag. Next to your name, it has the number. If you're a 1 or 2 or 3, then you're more likely for someone to come up to you and say, thanks for being here. What brought you out? And so a lot of times people are looking to start the conversation with you. So you don't have to stand against the wall in a corner and look for a friendly face. Friendly faces are coming to you because they see that you're a 1 or 2 or 3.
Oh, okay. So
come sometime.
And that's the thing. I bet it's probably very educational for just the general public, even if someone doesn't want to start a business.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, some of the educational events aren't about starting a business. Sometimes they're talking about a problem that we face in society. Matter of fact, there's been a session on homelessness, or a session on poverty, or a session on just managing your finances, or a session on so many other things that people are challenged with. And there are wonderful people who have some ideas about how to overcome those challenges.
So obviously then a wide range of subjects. Can people just show up, or do they need to make a reservation? Or?
Everyone just show up. Literally, it's at the intersection of 5th and Patterson, where the Bailey Power Plant is, and that's where the smokestack is.
Can't miss those.
Come on in. No one will make you feel odd. You don't have to register in advance. Matter of fact, there isn't a way to register in advance. You just show up. And then when you show up, we do ask you to register as soon as you walk in, so we can keep track of who's coming and how often they're coming. And once you come, you are added to the email list. So you'll get an email once or twice a week letting you know, here's what happened. On Friday, you'll get an email saying, here's what happened last night. And then on Tuesday, you'll get an email saying, here's what's going to happen on Thursday. And so you have a good idea of who's going to come and what they're going to talk about.
And it's Thursdays from
5 o'clock p.m. to 8 o'clock p.m.
So come on out. Sounds like a great time.
I'm typically there. I love going there, and I'm always energized by the others who are in the room. I always learn new things. So it's been a great experience for me, and an opportunity for more people to learn about the Small Business Center.
So what else we got going on Small Business Week? Anything?
Absolutely. We've got something going on every day. So on Friday the 3rd and Friday the 10th, we are inviting people to visit about up to 20 different organizations that provide support to small businesses. We don't expect anyone to visit all 20. However, there are a lot of organizations that want to help people to be successful. That includes us at the Small Business Center. We'd love for people to come and visit us. Our building is 525 at Vine in Innovation Quarter. Now, on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, our partners at the Kernersville Chamber of Commerce have an event called Spring Folly every year, again, of May. And so we encourage people to find their way to Kernersville on Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and you won't be disappointed.
As a proud K-Vegan, love Spring Folly.
I've been there a few times, and I've enjoyed it. On Saturday, our partners at the Louisville Clemens Chamber of Commerce are holding Clemens Community Day. And it's I think 10 to 2 on Saturday. It's at the YMCA, the Jerry Long YMCA in Clemens. And there's a lot of organizations that want to meet you and tell you how they can support you to make your life even better. And then on Monday, we have a LinkedIn clinic. LinkedIn is a wonderful social media tool really focused on professionals. And we've done a clinic about once a quarter for the last few years. This one is a little different. We're focusing on our mobile devices. Because if you're like me, you have the LinkedIn app on your phone or your tablet, and that's the main way you use it. It's a little bit different than the desktop. It doesn't have all of the features, but we talk about how people can be more successful in communicating with others through LinkedIn. And then on Tuesday, we're partnering with the City of Winston-Salem, the Winston-Salem Chamber of Commerce, and the Winston-Salem Black Chamber of Commerce to host the 5th annual MWBE Mixer. MWBE stands for Minority or Women Business Enterprise. So a lot of times MWBEs don't know about all the opportunities to be successful. Our motto at the Small Business Center is increasing business success. So each year we have this event and we partner those who register for the MWBE Mixer with general contractors and different city departments. The general contractors are already engaged with the city to do business, and a lot of times they're looking for MWBEs in order to complete the project. So this is an opportunity where we have speed networking sessions, and people can learn about, or business can learn about different opportunities to engage with these general contractors or different city departments. And that'll be held at the Enterprise Center, another partner of the Small Business Center. Then on Wednesday, we have an event every Wednesday called Marketing Outside the Box. We explore different ways to be successful, different marketing techniques that different businesses can and do employ. Our theme for the sessions, Marketing Outside the Box sessions in May, is apps for business. There are a lot of different apps that businesses can use to be more successful. So our session on May 8th is a little bit longer than the normal session. We normally have it from 12:30 to 1:30. The session on May 8th will start at 11:30 with lunch and will last through 2 o'clock. So we're really excited about that opportunity. Then on Thursday, we have a small business roundtable. Every usually first Thursday of the month, this month is an exception, we have a small business roundtable at the Enterprise Center, and we explore a variety of topics. This one is being sponsored by Wood Forest National Bank. They're a good partner of ours. And this one focuses on an acronym that we created called Speak Up. During a public speaking and presentation educational event that we had back in March, we came up with an acronym called Speak Up. Our facilitator, her name is Ivy G, she said, a lot of times when you're facilitating, come up with an acronym. It helps people to remember you and what you talked about. So we came up with the acronym Speak Up. And that is actually the theme for the month of May for the Small Business Center. And that will be the topic of our Small Business Roundtable on Thursday. And then on Thursday evening, we have Venture Cafe again. Every Thursday evening, we encourage people to participate in Venture Cafe. And many of our clients keep coming back because they have great experiences. So that's the lineup for the week. I will add one more thing. On Monday, the 6th, for those who join us at our LinkedIn clinic, we have a special treat. One of our clients is named Tanisha Monique, and she makes the best cupcakes in Winston. So whatever you all don't eat, I'm going to eat. And she'll probably have 10 different flavors of cupcakes. So we would love for you to join us for our LinkedIn clinic. And even if you can't make it to the clinic, visit us about 4 o'clock on Monday the 6th.
Well, I mean, come for the cupcakes, I mean, if anything else. So, well, that's fantastic. Sounds like it's a very busy schedule that you have coming up. You're going to be just exhausted probably by the end of the week, I would think.
I plan to be energized.
Good. Well, Allan Younger, the director of the Small Business Center at Forsyth Technical Community College, we appreciate you being here this week, and make sure that you get out to Venture Cafe and all those other events, because if nothing else, they sound like they're going to be educational.
We look forward to having a great celebration with everybody.
Allan Younger, once again, thanks for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
You've been listening to Piedmont Perspectives, a public affairs presentation of WTOB News. Listen to this and other programs on our website at WTOB980.com.